In November of 1904, a group of students at the University of Cambridge entered an ancient stone room, lit candles, raised a crucifix, and ordered a ghost to leave. The ghost refused. Not only refused, it threw them across the room. And two of them saw what was standing there with them. A male figure, dressed in white, with long hair, hovering a foot above the floor, its throat cut from ear to ear. And before this video ends, you will understand why that ghost hovered higher than the floorboards, and why that single physical detail, discovered entirely by accident, is the most disturbing proof that what those students witnessed was absolutely real. Cambridge, England, one of the oldest and most respected universities in the world. A place of reason, of science, of intellectual rigor, and at the center of that place, in the heart of one of the oldest colleges on campus, Corpus Christi College, founded in 1352, there exists a set of rooms that has been closed, reopened, closed again, partly demolished, and rebuilt across 400 years. In a continuous and silent attempt to solve a problem the institution has never been able to publicly acknowledge, a ghost that simply will not leave. The story begins in 1630. The bubonic plague had arrived in Cambridge. That summer, the city emptied. Professors fled. Students fled. Families locked their houses and left for the countryside. That was what you did when plague arrived. You ran, or you waited to die. But Dr. Henry Butts, Vice-Chancellor of the University and Master of Corpus Christi College, stayed while bodies accumulated in the streets, stayed while his colleagues disappeared one by one, stayed coordinating the university's response, caring for the sick, keeping the institution running with a skeleton staff, alone on a campus that had become nearly deserted. He described himself in letters as alone, destitute, and forsaken by scholars within and outside the college. The plague passed. Cambridge came back to life, but Dr. Butts did not come back to himself. For 2 years he carried in silence the weight of everything he had witnessed, the faces of the dying, the complete solitude of a man who had chosen to stay when everyone else had gone, and something inside him, slowly, began to break. In April of 1632, King Charles I and Queen Henrietta Maria visited Cambridge. It was tradition for the university to stage a theatrical performance in honor of royalty. Dr. Butts and Dr. Thomas Comer, Master of Trinity College, could not agree on which play to present. The solution was to present two, one from each college. Dr. Comer's play was a success. Dr. Butts's play was a failure, booed by the audience in front of the king. It was Easter Sunday, 10 days later. Dr. Butts was scheduled to preach before the college. He did not appear. They went to look for him in his rooms in the old master's lodge, in the ancient central courtyard of Corpus Christi. They found him hanging by his own garters, with his knees dragging on the floor. He was 57 years old. And that room, that specific room, in that specific corridor, in that courtyard that time tried to erase, never found peace again. For decades, the rumors accumulated. Voices, footsteps, knocking on the walls in the middle of the night. The rooms were renovated, changed function, used as student lodgings, then closed. In 1817, when a new court was built, the old college hall became the kitchen, and the manifestations migrated along with the memory of the place. In 1883, a student named Walter Moule occupied the rooms. He was found crawling on all fours in the corridor in broad daylight, in a state of complete shock. He was taken to a physician. he never fully revealed what he had seen. His uncle, Charles Moule, a senior fellow of the college, went to the room afterward to investigate. He came out disturbed as well, and also never spoke fully about what he had found. Then came 1904. An autumn afternoon, near Easter, a student named Hillier was in his rooms on the second floor, studying, when he was seized by an inexplicable unease. He looked up toward the window and saw, on the upper floor, across the courtyard, a man, head and shoulders visible above the window ledge, long hair, completely still, staring directly at Hillier with an expression he described as malevolent. Hillier ran upstairs for a better angle. When he reached the window, the man had disappeared. He crossed the courtyard to the upper rooms. The door was locked. No one answered. Later, he discovered that the occupant of those rooms had left early that morning, locking them behind him, and had been out the entire afternoon. It was impossible for anyone to have been inside. The manifestations continued. Nights later, Hillier awoke to find a white figure standing beside his bed. The figure moved toward the sitting room door and disappeared into it, passing straight through the closed wood. Hillier left the rooms that night and slept on a friend's sofa. He never returned. The matter came to the attention of John Capron, an undergraduate reading for holy orders, interested in spiritualism, and a member of a university psychical research society. Capron organized a group, 6 students. Among them, a young man named Shane Leslie, who would later become a celebrated poet and author, and whose testimony would corroborate everything decades later. On the agreed night, the 6 entered the haunted rooms. A fire was burning, the room lit only by firelight. Capron carried a large crucifix and a bottle of holy water. They knelt together and said the Lord's Prayer. Then Capron began reciting the words of the exorcism rite. I adjure thee, unclean spirit, in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, that thou come out and depart from this place. 2 of the 6 students saw what appeared. A mist, approximately the width of a man, that slowly took human form, dressed in white, with lace at the wrists, long hair, the throat cut from ear to ear, and floating, not at floor level, but approximately 1 foot above it. Capron and the room's occupant approached with a crucifix, and then both of them were thrown backwards by a force with no visible source, simply repelled, as though they had struck an invisible wall. They tried again, holding hands, were repelled again, with greater force. The other 4 in the room felt their limbs stiffen for no reason, as if something were preventing them from moving. They stepped back. Capron raised the crucifix again and recited the final section of the rite, commanding the spirit to give its name, the day and hour of its departure, and to never again disturb that place. The figure looked at them, according to Capron's account, and then retreated toward the bedroom. Without the crucifix this time, Capron ran toward the figure. He was thrown backward with violence, landing at the feet of the other students, and the bottle of holy water rolled across the floor. 1 student raised the crucifix. Another knelt by the fire, praying. Shane Leslie stood in silence, watching everything. That was when a tremendous crash sounded at the door. A crowd of students from King's College had heard about the planned exorcism and arrived, whether to help or merely out of curiosity. With their entrance into the room, the figure retreated up the stairs to the 3rd floor rooms. The students, agitated and in a state that Leslie later described as, quote, quote, collapse, broke open the cupboards, tore the ancient paneling from the walls, and destroyed the rooms entirely. The following morning, the university intervened. Students from King's College were banned from entering Corpus Christi. Every participant was required to sign a silence agreement. They could not reveal what had happened for as long as they remained associated with the university or the institution. The rooms were closed. And then came the detail that changed everything. When the rooms were later inspected for repairs, workmen discovered something that had gone undocumented. The floor had been lowered by approximately 1 foot in a 19th century renovation. The floorboards the students of 1904 had stood on were not the original 17th century floor. The figure that hovered a foot above the ground was not hovering. It was walking on the original floor, at the height of the century in which it had lived. The last documented apparitions of Dr. Butts occurred in the 1960s, decades after the events of 1904, decades after the exorcism that was supposed to send him away forever. What happened in that room in November of 1904 was documented, corroborated by verifiable names, mentioned in the college's own historical records, and confirmed by Shane Leslie in interviews decades later. The university never issued an official explanation. The rooms exist to this day, restored, partially reopened, repurposed. Dr. Henry Butts stayed in Cambridge when everyone else left because he believed it was his duty. And in some deeply unsettling way, it seems he never truly left at all. 400 years later, still walking the same stone floor. At the height of a world the rest of the world forgot.